Roman Anthony making his major league debut, hitless in 4 at-bats, hit the ball hard, had a walk, had an RBI ground out, had a rough play out in right field as well. Kind of the stuff of rookie nightmares there, but so much expected from a young guy who was stormed through the minor leagues. How good is Anthony, and how good is the bumper crop of Red Sox rookies? Time to do a little digging in. There was a time when the Red Sox had themselves a rookie bumper crop that looked like it would dominate baseball for a decade. Fred Lynn and Jim Rice had played the previous September for Boston, but they would both be rookies. Same year, 1975. Lynn hit .331, led the American League in slugging, won the American League Rookie of the Year and MVP. Rice was runner-up in Rookie of the Year. He was third in MVP voting. That's how great these guys were. By the way, Dwight Evans was a third-year veteran that season, but he was still only in his age 23 season, same as Fred Lynn. He was playing right field. The Red Sox had one of the biggest farm system bonanzas in the history of the sport. So it's unfair to compare any trio to that group. But Roman Anthony is currently the #1 prospect in the game. Second baseman Christian Campbell entered 2025 at number 7. Infielder Marcelo Meyer was number 12. Campbell and Meyer are both currently hitting at below league average rate. Campbell, after a good start, is down to a 92 weighted runs created plus. Meyer's at 99. That's just below league average. 41 big league plate appearances. That's nothing. And he's platooning now against right-handed pitching. But let's talk Roman Anthony. Age 19 season. He's working through, well, this is a statistic coming through this season in AAA, but he's going through AA ball. Slash line is tremendous. Last year, age 20 season, great work as well. And this year at AA and AAA, a 4.023 on base, slugging .491. He had 51 walks and just 56 strikeouts. He was leading all of AAA in walk percentage. Statcast-wise, what can one say that will beat this? He hits a 500-foot home run earlier this week at 115 miles an hour. All right, 497. That's Ruthian. At AAA, you can track the exit velo and hard hit percentage, and Anthony was crushing the competition. Impressive for a 21-year-old at AAA. So let's do some AAA Statcast, all right? Exit velocity, averaging 95 miles per hour. That is crushing it at any level. Major league average is just over 89. Hard hit percentage, albeit against minor league pitching, he's at 57%. That's a big number. That's about what Aaron Judge does to the majors. Barrel percentage, that's the hard hit percentage. He's at 12% there. Major league average is just about 6%. Ex-WOBA, your expected weighted on base, a robust 441. In other words, he has hit the ball very hard, very consistently at AAA at the age of 21, which is young even there. So I don't think we'll ever see a 23 and under trio the way we saw it in Boston in the mid-70s. And for Roman Anthony to be as good as Fred Lynn, he'd have to be as good as Aaron Judge right now, currently the best player in his league. That's not happening. But big things are expected for Roman Anthony, and that is cause for optimism. Tell me, you had some 1-1 talent, right? First pick overall, Tampa Bay, you had some great young players. When you bring up the #1 prospect in the sport, what's the key to getting that guy successful?
Simplify everything. Don't give him too much information. Don't ask too much of him. I would sit them down in my office and just have a conversation with them. And again, I want them to go out to the ball field, play the game as though they've just been playing in AAA. I don't want you to change anything because you're on a major league field all of a sudden. I think sometimes a guy comes into a situation, you give him too much to think about, and it's already been suggested by Joel there. You want to bring him into a group of guys that are performing, that have a culture already built, so that he comes into a winning kind of a situation, not being asked to be the savior, but to be a contributor to the whole thing. All of those things are really important, but overarching with the individual player, don't make it complicated for him. Try to simplify it as much as you possibly can.
Joe, how different is it? Like, again, we see Roman Anthony. We saw Jack Caglione earlier in the week, or maybe it was late last week, come in. There's things about their game that look very attractive, right? That look possibly spectacular. Are prospects different these days? Because we're seeing these finished products coming out of, youth league ball, which is now all-star ball, zone, the whole super kid being, developed this way. Are young players different now than it was like even in the Fred Lynn era?
I think the biggest difference, I just had this conversation recently, is just their makeup. They've been exposed to media in a different way. They're able to handle a more high-level situation more easily than the group that I worked with years ago. Furthermore, there was a hazing component to the game back in the day. There was a veteran component back in the day. So when a rookie walked into the room, not necessarily as comfortable as they're walking in the room today. But I think the way they're being raised, I'm separate from the actual playing of the game, swinging the bat, fielding the ball, et cetera. I think what permits them to be successful sooner is that they're comfortable there. Whereas in the past, you were made to be a little bit uncomfortable as you arrived, whether it was the manager, coaching staff, players, veterans, whatever. So I watch them and I listen to them. I go, my God, I could not have been that cool at 21 as a lot of they're skillful, but their personality, their makeup, I think is on a little bit more refined level as it had been.